Hello there, Internet. Pardon me. Hello there, YouTube, and welcome back to the Hermit Gamers playthrough, solo hardcore playthrough of X-Men Legends 2. We're using the Juggernaut. We are currently just about to start Act 3. So we're going to get in there and let's go.
Let the games begin.
And here we are. I'm not too worried about Act 3. Sugar Man is potentially dangerous because we don't have any invincibility and we don't have range. You know. That just means I actually need to use some skill when I play. Oh, Très Fabulous. Très Fabulous is very good, but I mean, we're so underleveled for it. That's the kind of thing that, like, we'll be equipping around, like, the final act. Presumably by then we would have our equipment, but we'll see. So build-wise, we are still crazily on a leveling build. Our final build is going to lean heavily into Balanced Form, Sidorak Shield. We're going to use both of our ults. And then we are going to be using Crimson Rage. Just a couple of skill points in it. And Bull Rush as well. Again, just a skill point or two. No need to overinvest because Juggernaut's ult allows you to one-shot everything. Oh, I forgot to... Oh my gosh, okay. And even though he's further away, we will go talk to Angel because the core is the more dangerous of the two areas.
Well, with the help of a few, it's a nuclear.
But generally speaking, like doing the Infinite Factory before the core is not really going to help you. Like, you know, the extra couple of levels, maybe slightly better equipment, it probably won't make that much difference. So generally speaking, my mindset has always been like, okay, well, I would rather like do the core and then potentially die and have to start again than do the Infinite Factory and then do the core and potentially die and have to start.
Remember to use that recall transmitter beside you if you want me to pick you up. Havoc out. And this is where find a right.
And you should be able to kind of, yeah, just force your way in here. Oh, this is super dangerous, primarily because wasn't sure about the keybind for that. But as you can see, Bull Rush kind of sorts out these melee enemies quite nicely because of the CC, and also it allows you to, you know, rapidly close space with ranged enemies. It gives you mobility. Mobility is super strong. And, you know, then you also have the option of using his ults. Both of his ults are good. Both of his ults have impressive utility. So, oops, we somehow missed everyone. But yeah, so one of his ults essentially is a buff that allows you to one-shot everything. Aside from, you know, unique bosses and so on. Now these guys, we kind of just have to suffer. And slowly kind of wear them down.
The Juggernaut wins again.
Having quick access to stun definitely just helps, like holding them in place. So where this can get a little bit spicy is with guys like this, where you have a guy who has effective invincibility, and he's protecting the others, preventing you from like running through the entire mob. But as you can see, not too bad. I did prepare myself, prepared my soul for a moment when they were knocking me up like near that pit, because you can get ledged, and if you ledge, you die instantly. And these guys can potentially kind of chain CC you and bonk you closer to the pit and then ledge you. There's not much you can do about it. You know, my positioning for that fight was really bad. But I didn't think I was going to get pushed all the way back there by the guy with the combo shield. And that's on me, because I saw he had some sort of shield. You know, at that point, you either pop Path of Destruction and, you know, just insta-kill them all, or you kite them back, pull them back into a better position for you to fight in. And it's nice. Oh, it's so nice having a like AoE that doesn't cost a lot of energy, just using it to loot with. It's so much better than having to just smash everything with auto attacks. So like this is scary. Okay. We may just be dead here. No? So this is something also that that can just like randomly get you killed. What happens is if this ability hits something it can't break, it kind of cancels. And what happened was I'm just getting like, you know, I got like bonked on the edge of the thing, and then before I could switch to this just to get a quick one shot in, which would have killed everything, I was already being stun locked. So you know that's kind of on me. I didn't actually hit the button for Path of Destruction like quickly, and also I should realistically have this up because this ability mitigates some damage and it deflects some damage, which is very nice, particularly against melee enemies like these core punishers. It allows us to play a little bit less safely around them, because so getting stun locked in this game is obviously like super dangerous, but one of the things is like it's a slow death. It's kind of a death by 1,000 cuts, because you can obviously eat a bunch of potions to kind of sustain yourself for a while. The question is like, okay, I am eventually going to run out of potions, so if this is properly like an inescapable stun lock touch of death scenario, eventually the potions will just run out and I'll die. I can button mash and maybe I'll just squeeze off an ability that will save me, but I may not.
Good. Okay.
But what can definitely save you in a situation like that is an ability like this that reflects damage, so the enemies will actually like kill themselves beating on you eventually. And this is super dangerous, but again, there's no combo shields, and that means we can literally just very safely run right through them. And, you know, this is where you come into the thing where it's like, okay, speed and damage can kind of solve all your problems. Now, this guy dangerous because he has a combo shield, but as you can see, we can kite them back, we kill them, and now this guy is just not a threat at all. And the only thing I don't like is we are using quite a lot of EP to do this, but that's fine. Because we're not going to be ranking up Bull Rush, eventually our focus will kind of outpace the EP requirements. The music for the core is pretty good. It's very kind of like sci-fi epic. Oh, please just die. Thank you.
Want a piece of the Juggernaut?
It's go time.
He's dancing. There is scary stuff in here. Spooky. Let's this and use that just to get a little bit of space, you know, be safe. And that's what I should have done in that last fight. Is it, you know, oh, hold on, I have mobility, it doesn't matter.
Need more power to do that. Should've got out.
You know, I don't necessarily have to take a fight where the enemy catch up to me because I can just reposition myself very freely. You know, it costs a lot of EP at this current point because it's such a new ability. But it will get very manageable even in just a couple of levels. Alright, this is... Nah, this isn't too dangerous. Let's just, yeah, run them down. On your bike. Like that. Did not want to fall down that, but it is what it is. This one, and yeah, getting to that is a little bit of a faff if you don't have any ranged abilities. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm liking this.
Back up.
Pardon? I wanted to pick up the item, I opened the door instead. Oh, it is what it is. As I say, those guys, not worried, not dangerous at all. The dangerous enemies in this area are... they can be dangerous if they have enhanced damage aura. They can also be dangerous if they're around core punishers, because the punishers can stun lock you and then they can kind of DPS you, and you know, it's just combo, you know. These guys can be very dangerous purely in the fact that they don't freaking die. What we can do, I believe, is one-shot them with Path of Destruction. Well, not this guy because he's protected by minions, but... Ooh, lots of loot there, and man, so the thing with those core, undercloaks is basically they have this ability where they get massive damage mitigation. According to in the games, by the game's systems, it's a kind of stealth state. Now, there's character in this game, Wolverine, who has a passive that at a certain level, it's called Enhanced Senses. At a certain level, Enhanced Senses allows you to... hold on. Yeah, I do actually need to start getting points in Balance Form. So it's probably time now to start thinking about getting a redistribute. However, for the time being, we'll just leave it as is. Because I probably want to just see if I can push this build to 28. Now, let's see what we have here. Anything? That rare? Ooh, plus 11 damage, plus 1 maximum. That's pretty nice. The only problem then is that all my added damage equipment is physical, which potentially does lower our damage against some things, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I can always swap it back, and I can hold on to that piece just in case I grab another non-physical damage piece. But yeah, so the idea is that you're going to have to get that Enhanced Senses passive in order to kill those guys in a timely fashion. The only alternative is... Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, that little entrance hall always just a little bit spicy. Because there's a whole bunch of mobs and you've got nowhere to kite them to. You've got no space to work with. I should have just used an ult. Made it easy on myself. But it is what it is. Anyway. Didn't mean to press that. I'm still getting the hang of these keybinds, but...
Guess you didn't want a piece of the Juggernaut.
So there is a kind of quick power system in this game, but it's very limited in the type of abilities that it will actually let you bind to it. So like, I can only bind one of my ults, and this is probably a good move to use buff instructions, because these guys are so tanky.
You ain't big enough to fight me. That weren't a fair fight.
But if you haven't guessed, this is also how Juggernaut deals with physical immunes. Which means essentially Juggernaut can have single channel damage. He doesn't have to care about immunities. Because by the time you are playing through this game on hard, where immunities are going to be really prevalent, Path of Destruction lasts for like 45 seconds. And if you're in an area where there are going to be a lot of physical immunes,
So hot, pal.
you pretty much just have it up the whole time. Yeah, I was kind of hoping the spinny punch would go up. A lot of energy-based radials go up. And we'll break all the boxes on top as well. I don't know if I can be bothered. Let's just push on.
We got it. How do I do it?
Yeah, we've really, unfortunately, really reduced our damage with this, because the spread just isn't optimal anymore, but that's fine. Like I said, I'll just hold on to that piece of equipment and eventually we'll replace something else and then use it. Or more ideally, we'll upgrade the belt, because the belt we've had since Act 1 and it's not very good. But as you can see, the damage is not bad at all when we actually have the right balance of added damage gear from our equipment on. Oh, that's right, I could break that. Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
I got this one.
Oh, that's crazy. I mentioned, I think in the previous stream, that I had been a little bit kind of busy lately. One of the things that I was doing was ranking up an account in Rivals, so I could play ranked with a friend. because I prefer to solo queue on my main account. I don't want to be carried, and I don't want to carry. Like, I don't want the responsibility of carrying, and I don't want to be getting carried, particularly because, like, differences can be subtle enough that someone can really be, like, enabling you, and you don't even realize it. And then it's like, you go back to solo queue, and you're like, oh my god, I'm getting shit on. In the rank that you just climbed to with the duo. But it's like, whatever. I'm not saying people shouldn't duo. I'm just saying, for me, I want to know what rank I personally can get to on my own. Oh, that's so freaking good. That's going to be unbelievable when we can actually equip it. Absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Oh, okay, so what we can do is we can take that. We can take these wristbands off. Hold on. So that's 4 max damage, 11 damage, 3 speed. Yeah, so it is a slight upgrade. The only problem is... Oh wait, no, they're not gloves. Okay, so yeah, we couldn't swap them around anyway.
There's a lot to choose from, huh?
That is what it is, no worries. Oh, you mean like this is where the game starts to get crazy? I would tend to agree. Act 3 is, everything is pretty much dialed up. I think it's the biggest difficulty spike in the game, but it's pretty manageable if you have a good build. Anyway, we're going to go back into the core. But yeah, so I rank up this account, and I want to point out a couple of things, because my first ranked game, during which I might add, we're pretty well getting full health, like we're getting stomped. I think I walk out of spawn, I just immediately like walk back into spawn, like I'm on tank. I think I got 1 kill, but like it wasn't like, it was like a pick on someone who was like crazy overextending into our spawn doors as I'm walking back, so it doesn't change the fact that we're getting rolled. And then it's like I walk back out of spawn, I just kind of do some like poke damage, and I get an ult, and I use the ult, and the ult doesn't kill anyone. And then, like, I'm just kind of poking, running back to spawn, like, about to freaking get rolled, because we've just been rolled by ults. And the game just, like, goes, like, beep, it, like, ends, and I get this message basically saying, like, oh, we've detected violation in your gameplay, and you're now being, like, comp banned. And, I'm like, hold on a minute. Like, I'm, like, missing a good chunk of my shots, and I'm getting curb stomped. I don't even get a kill with my ult. But apparently, I'm such a gigantic smurf or something that I need to be comp banned. I just want to remind anyone, and I can show you the recording of it. This is mid-match comp banned. On my main account, when I was leveling, we were in silver, and there was a Psylocke who was so blatantly like smurfing, but not even smurfing, because like no one is like, there's a Sydney servers, the time we're playing midweek, like there ain't no freaking pro gamers smurfing on those servers, and that's how good they would have had to have been. I mean, they did not miss shots. They were hard aimbotting. They were so devastating. Like, most of our team was 0 kills. We never even touched point. Complete and utter curb stomp. They got 6Ks, literal 6Ks. Like, went through our entire team and just killed every single person. Multiple times. The biggest, like, case of absolute, either the most insane smurf you can imagine, like a literal Celestial or Eternity player, or aimbotting. One or the other. That match wasn't cancelled, but somehow I get insta-banned, and I'm looking it up, and apparently it's some bullshit to do with playing through Steam, because, like, the thing is like, I don't want to smurf, and, like, it's not, like... So, like, this game is open queue, so if I want to play, like, DPS and understand, like, okay, what rank am I on DPS, I need a separate account to play DPS. Like, that's not smurfing, I'm sorry. That's just, like, if you make an open queue game, people are going to have alt accounts.
it's not like they're not doing it in bad faith. Most of them are probably like not even good enough to smurf. Like I'm not good enough to smurf. There are like bronze lobbies where I get stomped because we're just team diffed, and it's like I might do way better than most of the people on my team, but I still get stomped. I can't turn the loss into a win. You know, and it's like, I don't know, whatever. It really frustrates me. That's like, I genuinely spent like 4 days grinding the levels up on that account so I could get it to play ranked. And now it's like, I don't even, like, I don't think it's comp banned now, but still, like, I don't, like, I'm genuinely like, oh, okay, is there even a point trying to play ranked on it? And it's also now like...
It's all in excellent condition.
Is it just some issue with Steam? Also, I don't know why I came back. There was actually no reason to come back. But yeah, we're going through the core pretty comfortably, considering, you know, this is one of the more dangerous areas because you do have those melee enemies who can stunlock you. But, as I said, I wasn't particularly worried about it on Juggernaut. You know, when you have any ability to, like, reflect damage, getting stunlocked to death is just much less of a possibility. And, of course, the ability to one-shot everything just makes those undercloaks much more trivial. Now, the undercloaks are not particularly dangerous, just kind of like, you know, one-for-one, right? It's like, there are things in this game that are dangerous if they're just allowed to exist forever. Like, they have top priority in terms of, like, this must die first. Because either it's protecting everything else, or it has some persistent effect. And the three main effects are either you have an enemy who has, you know, who has, like, protects minions, basically. So they have a shield where everyone around them can't die unless either they leave their aura radius or the person with the aura gets killed. Okay, now if it's an undercloak, you basically can't kill it. Congrats. Well, I mean, you can, but you're going to be pounding on it for a very, very, very long time. Unless you have Path of Destruction or enhanced senses at a high enough level. So you're kind of potentially a little bit pooped. Like, then the only option you have is to, like, peel the group away, like hide everything away, which, you know, you need space to do that and it takes time and blah blah blah. But anyway, it's doable. But it's still dangerous and frustrating and so on. So you have that. Another ability they can have that is very dangerous is EP drain, because, you know, typically you need EP to fight. And EP drain, like, you can't sustain it with potions. You'll drink all your potions in like 5 seconds before you kill an undercloak that has EP drain. So you essentially are just condemned to take that fight without EP. And the only option then is to try to kite, kite and separate. Yeah, the little energy burst one. It's still decent with Path of Destruction, though. I just haven't put a point in it yet because I'm kind of... I put all those points in Critical Strike early that need to be redistributed out, so when I do redistribute, I probably will. But for now, we just have to live without it. But it's fine. Mental resistant always super tanky because you have all that bonus mental damage from your focus. But yeah. So undercloaks, the other aura they can have that is very dangerous is the irradiated aura, where they just put a persistent drain on your health. Because again, it's like there's something that now it's dangerous just for existing, and that's why they're a dangerous enemy. But it's like, the problem is, like, when you start getting these problems and they're stacked up, now it's like, oh, okay, now you potentially have some, like, core punishers, and maybe one of them has a combo shield, so he can't die, and he's immune to CC, so you're using abilities like this, but you're getting hung up on him. And then there's, like, some undercloaks come in, and one of them has EP drain, and just, like, you see what I mean? Like, things like that can rapidly, the problems can kind of stack up and then become like really, really difficult to deal with, like more than you can handle with your full kit, depending on who you're playing. Usually, unless you have extremes to burn, but even then, undercloaks can tank most extremes in this game if they're in their like stealth phase. What do we got here? Yeah, we just keep pumping Sadarak Shield. I mean, you kind of want balanced form as well, but it is what it is. And here, this I would argue is probably the most dangerous area in the core. But like most of the dangerous things in this game, if your build isn't like hopelessly weak, you can play around it. So the objective here is you need to lower these fuel rods, or raise them or something, or turn these reactors on. But if you don't go lower the fuel rods first, you'll irradiate the area and you'll take damage over time until you go lower them. So if you're doing this as a 4 with 4 players and you have good builds with them, don't even worry about it. Just lower them first, run through here, kill everything. Just turn the things on and then go lower them. It's not even an issue. But as a solo, it's probably still doable, to be honest, if you were willing to like try to kind of speed run it. But I wouldn't, because there's an enemy here that can knock you up, and they very easily, potentially, can lead you into these reactor pools, which is a one-shot. And they're much more likely to do that if you're trying to race through this area, because what you want to do is you always want to keep them between you and the pool, not reverse. And that means you have to kite them back. And it means you have to peel this area and do it patiently. So that's why I would strongly recommend not messing around with the things. Of course, if you get the opportunity to ledge enemies, always satisfying, always fun. Ooh, a rare? Another rare. What I really need is a new belt. Making me crazy. I mean, yeah, we'll have this one at level 30, but this is going to be a while. Alright, what do we got here? Mental damage or resistances? It's not terrible, but it's not better than that. So let's bippity boop lower these shenanigans. You could have just hid back there. I wouldn't have come and killed you. I would have let you live. Yeah.
Where's my next victim?
Let's go WWF on this guy. Oh no, 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 no. I don't know if you can tell by my movement, but I am very, very, very frantically trying to always keep myself always keep the enemies between me and the pit and not the other way around. And it doesn't matter there because it's just one guy and we CC him into a corner and bully him to death, so that's not an issue. This guy is dangerous. Let's see if we can... Oh my gosh, I was hitting the button so many times and nothing happened. That was crazy. Oh well, anyway. We might as well clear this little end room. It's just a little bit of EXP, potential loot. But, you know, I do actually need loot. I'm quite hard up, actually, for a little upgrade on my belt. I mean, I technically do have an upgrade, I suppose. Oh, incredible. I hate this guy. This guy so much. Get out of here. So, incredible. Incredible is electricity. Okay, we don't need that. Now, what we do have is we have this, which could be better than this, but realistically, it's not. I mean, it's difficult. Radiation damage is its whole own thing. I don't value it very highly. It can potentially be very good for allowing you to hit breakpoints if you're a caster type character, because the total damage is much higher, you know, than a non-radiation energy piece, right? So it's like this, okay, if there's two guys and I have the right rad gear to hit the one shot, the way I do it is like bonk, and then he dies, and then he dies, right? And yeah, there's potentially some value in that, particularly if you have a big radial ability that hits lots of enemies at once, particularly if you have ranged abilities, so someone like Cyclops can have a pretty decent
Well done. Good.
shot with things like radiation damage, because the enemies have time to get to tick down while they're running at you. I really don't value it on close range characters at all. But as I say, it can allow you to hit breakpoints that you wouldn't otherwise. It definitely has its uses. The problem is that it might allow you to hit a breakpoint, but it might actually lower your time to kill. It might actually raise your time to kill. So there's that you need to consider, where it's like, yeah, but if the enemy is alive for 2 more seconds while it ticks down, even though you only had to use one ability and didn't waste more EP spamming, but the spamming, if the spamming killed them faster, then, you know, they hurt you less, and that could be worth it. You know, it's all pros and cons, right? It's just that, like, I personally think the cons, when you add them all up, kind of outweigh the pros. But as I say, there are definitely people who can make use of it. Heroes with a lot of CC, and I know Juggernaut has a lot of CC, but he doesn't, not the kind of CC you want for something like this. The CC we're talking about is more like things like Scott's little arc reactor trap, where, you know, it just like kind of hard CCs an entire mob for a good long time, and they're just like stuck with it. Or, but yeah, as you can see, we can get popped up here, and it doesn't matter. Nice and safe. But yeah, so an ability like that, or even something like Optic Flash, or Storm has an ability called Funnels that is big forward-moving AoE that can stun for a long time. Also her... Oh my god!
Supposed to be unstoppable.
The man said it. There's not much I can do about that, guys. We should have CC'd that guy, and we should have been basically have immune to CC iframes when we're bull rushing. But it is what it is. Sometimes the game just kills you with a little bit of death. Oh well. I think I was just like yapping too much. Ultimately, I should have kited back, but I thought, okay, one guy, we're gonna bull rush him, we're gonna knock him down, and it's not gonna be a problem, but apparently it was. It sucks to die with 2 extreme tokens in the thing, but that's the way it is. Anyway, so it turns out the Juggernaut was unstoppable, as he said himself. But as you can see, it could have gone either way. He's definitely a character who can get through the game. As I say, speed and damage can solve all your problems, but it relies on you to solve them, and I just didn't then. So that is what it is. And unfortunately, that means the stream is... that's... I mean, I would have to load from here anyway, so... Like, I have to redo that mission. and
How would you like to
I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to load a save if it's supposed to be a hardcore run. No, it's okay. Like I said, I mean, you can see how that death could have been avoided, how I could have played around it, and yeah, it is a little bit sad to not actually get to the point of having a full build. But what I will do is I'll do a hardcore playthrough with Juggernaut. That way we can actually just start with a full build and see how that goes. He's also one of the few that can do a gearless hard start, purely because of Path of Destruction, giving him the ability to one-shot everything. But yeah, yeah, sad. He's dead. The next one I'm gonna do, if I don't immediately transition into doing a hard start with Juggernaut, is we will probably do one with. Let me see. Nightcrawler was tempting because I do talk about him a lot, and I would say he's like a benchmark character in terms of just his ability to kill bosses and his like early game ad clear and so on. Other characters I talk about a lot are like Pyro and Sunfire, just like as being like absolute broken S tier. So it could be worth doing one with one of them, just to show how like absolutely crazy they can go. But there's a lot of other characters. Some really, I mean, you know, I could do one of the bonus characters like Deadpool or Professor X. Professor X is a really good character who kind of gets dumped on a lot in guides and so on. And one of the problems that they have is that this ability, basically, this ability functions the same way as an ability like Fireblade or something would with Pyro. So there's ways to absolutely very, very massively multiply its DPS with gear. And then obviously with your EP and so on. And this guy also has the ability to make himself fast. Which ability is it that does that? This one. So this says movement speed, but it's not actually movement speed. It's the speed at which you do everything. It's animation speed. So this is one of the best passives in the game because it's damage reduction and it's essentially a multiplicative damage increase that makes it much easier to hit breakpoints because you just, you know, choo-choo, do your abilities really fast. But anyway, Professor X, actually a really strong character, but he's often considered weak, primarily because his extreme is really underwhelming and he just doesn't have many abilities, but he also doesn't need many. Anyway, yeah, sad to say, but that's kind of the end of the stream for tonight. Yeah, a real bummer because, as I said, it's kind of my gameplay, and I don't want to start a new character on this stream when it's like labeled as a Juggernaut stream. So unfortunately, I kind of just have to mark this one as a failed run. It is what it is. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow and be doing something else. I could just do a do-over with Juggernaut, but like I said, I might save that until later. The characters who failed, I'll do over with them, and you know. Anyway, thanks to anyone who dropped by. I can see we've got a few viewers. Really sad that I kind of messed up there and, you know, that the stream ended prematurely, but I will be back tomorrow and we'll continue on. Anyway, until then, take care, and I shall see you all, catch you all rather, on the flip side.
Loading, ready.